Preston County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
The younger sister of 12-year-old Simran Thomas made a frantic emergency 911 call when she found her with a bullet wound in May 2018.
Shot herself? Is she okay? What happened?
The young child took her own life after being blackmailed by Alexander McCartney. 18 months later, her heartbroken father, Ben Thomas, a former US Army veteran, also took his own life. A father and daughter in a small town in West Virginia in the US, driven to suicide by the actions of a child abuser using a range of technology in his home in the rural Lissummon Road area outside Newry. Alexander McCartney pleaded guilty to the manslaughter of Simran Thomas and 184 other charges related to child abuse. The offences involved 70 victims, all girls aged between 10 and 16, when they were targeted via social media platforms, mainly Snapchat. But police say his offending was on an industrial scale. They believe the total number of victims was around 3,500. They say he targeted children in Northern Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, the US, Australia, New Zealand, and at least 28 other countries. The former computer science student pretended to be a teenage girl to befriend his victims and then deceived them into sending him intimate sexual images of themselves. His messages then became much more sinister as he blackmailed them into sending more and warned he would post the images already sent online for their families and friends to see if they refused. Sentencing McCartney to at least 20 years in prison, a judge at Belfast Crown Court described his actions as sadism and depravity.
McCartney is a dangerous predator. He was relentless and cruel. His depravity knew no bounds. McCartney's actions have directly caused the death of a child. He may as well have pulled the trigger himself.
The sentencing hearing was held this afternoon to accommodate victims and their families in different time zones across the world who watched by video link. Mr. Justice O'Hara said the childhoods of McCartney's victims had been stolen. He said McCartney had ignored multiple pleas for mercy from desperate young children. The judge said that when some victims told McCartney they would kill themselves or self-harm, he replied that he simply didn't care. Prosecutors paid tribute to the victims who cooperated with police, and many were willing to give evidence against their abuser if the case had gone to trial.
The bravery of the young victims has been an inspiration to everyone who worked on this case. His conviction sends a message to other abusers. Your actions have dire consequences, and there is nowhere to hide from the justice system.
In a statement, Snapchat said, "The sexual exploitation of any person is horrific and illegal, and our hearts go out to the victims in this case. If we discover this activity or it's reported to us, we remove it, lock the valued in account and report it to the authorities." The judge said the PSNI and law enforcement agencies across the world who worked together to bring McCartney to justice were owed a debt of gratitude. Vincent Kearney, RTE News, Belfast.